So I originally said that I wanted to make a 2, maybe a 3-part series of videos, and that was my plan from the get-go. But then now that I'm sitting here editing the videos, I can't make my video number 2, part 2, as long as it would end up being, even with time lapse put into it. So I'm gonna have to split it up. We're gonna have a 4-part series of videos now, and that's just how it's just gonna have to be, unfortunately. So here is part 2. Welcome back to part 2. My name is Brian, and this is Fab Automotive Detailing. In this video, we're gonna be showing you how to compound or polish the paint, and then we're gonna be applying some wax. I'm hoping I can do it in just this video. Hopefully I don't have to extend it to a third, but I might have to, I'm not sure. But let's just get this one going. Let's do it. Well, kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be using today. Speed shine cloths, obviously I just use those. There's my Astro Light. Polishing cloths, wax cloths, and then PFM, which I use for wax removal and sometimes polish removal. And then I got different types of polishing pads. These are more aggressive, the orange, and these are less aggressive. And then I got some Best of Show paste wax. I'm not sure if I'm using that yet. I still have to call the guy and find out if he wants that or a sealant. I don't know. Gonna be using Adams Tire Shine, glass cleaner, pre-wax cleanser from Griot's Garage, but you can't buy it anymore. I've got about 6 bottles of them, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's just another way of not using isopropyl alcohol, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people use isopropyl alcohol. This is supposed to be better. It doesn't allow the paint to actually dry over time from using isopropyl alcohol all the time. And then I got dried on wax removal just in case I need it. In here, this is that big bag I showed in my very first video, is my dual action polisher. You got complete compound, complete polish, perfecting cream, correcting cream. Now these are basically, these two right here do the same thing as these two, and I really like the complete compound, complete polish myself. And then I have liquid polywax if that's what he wants to use. 1-step sealant, I am not using that. And then in this bag I have my 3-inch orbital and the pads for it. So it's just kind of a quick overview. And of course, caffeine. So I'm gonna set the camera up and we'll start doing some polishing. Okay, little tip. I don't know anything about this vehicle. It appears just by looking at it that it's been painted, but I do not know 100%. So I'm not sure if it's a single stage or if it has a clear coat on it. So the best way to do that is to take a heavy compound or correcting cream. We're gonna put it on a microfiber towel. This one is from Adams Polishes. It's white. It's gonna give me a really good idea. I'm gonna work it into what I consider an inconspicuous spot, which is down here. If it comes off and it's red, then it's got a really soft paint and it does not have a clear coat on it. If it comes off and I don't have no paint transfer at all, then I know it at least has a clear coat on it, and then we'll take the steps necessary after that. So here's what I do when I don't know, if I'm not sure. I'll put a little bit right there. Let's see. Yeah, right there. Not a lot. We're gonna come down here to a spot. We're just gonna work it in just like we would if we were polishing with the machine. Okay, so I'd say that this car has clear coat on it. Hopefully, pick that up. There's no paint transfer on here at all. So we're gonna wipe it off. And now we know it has a clear coat on it. Now I don't know how soft the clear coat is. I also don't know how thick the clear coat is. So I wanna start off with least aggressive possible. If that does not get rid of the defects, we will move up to the compound. So I'm gonna start with complete polish and then we'll move up to this if it's not getting rid of the defects, which I think it probably won't, to be honest with you. It's more of just refining the paint, making the paint look better after you're done doing corrections, what complete polish is for. But there are sub-micron abrasives in complete polish, so it can take away defects. So we will start there and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so here's the part where we're going to start. We're going to start in the middle of the hood, and hopefully you can see, it's hard to do on the camera, all those swirls in the paint. I don't do 50-50 shots, so if you're expecting one, you're not going to get one. And the reason I don't is because when you put that tape down, when you take it off, that little bit of adhesive stays on the hood. You run your polishing pad across that, it picks it up, and now you're smearing the adhesive all around the vehicle. Like I said, we're going to start off less aggressive method first. So we're going to use complete polish, 6-inch Griot's Garage Random Orbital with a 5.5-inch pad conversion, 5.5-inch pad. This is the less aggressive pad that they sell for this machine. We're just going to do what they call a 2-foot by 2-foot. It's going to be probably a little bit bigger than that because that's how I do it. And then we will remove the polish and we'll see what it looks like and figure out if we need to go the next step up or if what we're doing here is okay. But when you first start, you want to butter the pad, as they call it. And one thing I like about the Griot's containers are these tops. You can use them to butter the pad up real good. These are open cells. You don't want any of these cells to not have polish in them. You want to get as much on there as possible the very first time. That's only the very first time that you do that. And that's pretty much good. It's still not a lot of product, but that's good right there. Polish back here. Make sure you wrap the cord over your shoulder. And we're gonna start on speed 2 to spread the polish, and then we'll move up to about a 4, maybe a 4.5, 5, somewhere around there. And I'm not gonna bear down really hard on the paint because, like I said, I know nothing about this paint. I have no idea how thick this clear coat is, so this is really gonna be a good test pass right here. I'm just doing this to spread it out. In fact, I'm gonna go a little bit further because I got plenty of product on here. And we're gonna speed it up to about 4. Remove the polish. Do not let polish dry on the paint. I can tell you right now, just by first looks at it, we're gonna have to step it up. We're gonna have to go to the complete compound. It got rid of some of them, but not very many. And I didn't think it would, but I always start least aggressive when I'm not sure on paint. And one thing you wanna remember on when you're polishing paint, the thinnest parts of the paint are anywhere that there is a crease or a curve in the paint, like right here in the middle. That's very thin, so you do not wanna run the machine over that really slowly. You will take the paint right off there. You'll burn right through it. So just be very cautious when you're doing this. But show you guys what the complete polish did. I don't think it really did much of anything. It may have a little bit, but you still see a lot of swirls in there. It's not as bad. I don't think it's as bad as it was, but it definitely still has swirls. And see, that's the difference. That's why I go far away with a light, and then I'll come down close with a light. When I showed you in my light video with the Astro video earlier, like last week I think it was. Get different views, get different angles of the paint. So I'm gonna set up for the complete compound, and we will do that. Okay, we got complete compound, got the pad primed. And you're gonna notice that I'm gonna go fast with my arms, faster than what you would normally see in detailing. And that's because this is a fiberglass body. Fiberglass and plastic can't dissipate heat as good as a metal body car or aluminum body like the new Ford F-150s are, they can't dissipate heat, so you have to move kind of quick because you will get that panel really hot and you'll start burning through if you just sit in one spot, you know, and just barely move. I mean, you can't do that. So we're gonna go on here, start it out slow. We're gonna go up to about a 5. And like I said, my arm speed's gonna be a little bit faster than what you're probably used to seeing. And always remember to leave your pad needs to be flat. Do not angle the pad at all. I can already tell that did a lot better. And normally on paint that has this many swirls on it, I would usually be using a microfiber cutting pad. But like I said, I don't know how thick this clear coat is. And that's looking a lot better. Now you'll notice on this complete polish and complete compound, there is zero dusting on the panel at all. There's none. I really like that about it. Let's see, get a light here. It is not perfect yet. See, there's still some swirls. It's not as bad as it was, but there's definitely still swirls, as you can see. Now when you're polishing the paint, if your gut tells you to stop, you know, don't do another polish, then don't do it. You'll probably burn through it. I mean, just always go with your gut on that. You have a scratch that's really deep and you're trying to get to it and you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, just one more time I can probably get it. That's probably when you're gonna mess up. So just know when to stop when you're polishing paint. But that is definitely looking a lot better, but it still needs more work. I really wish I could use my microfiber cutting pad, but I really don't want to chance it on this car, to be honest with you. That's the shop phone, that's not my phone. Well, I think we're gonna do a round 2 of the complete compound, same arm speed. Try to keep it about the same as we did the first time. The paint is definitely warmer. Let's find out what it actually is. .92 degrees where I polished. About 85 degrees where I didn't polish, so plus 7 degrees, that's not too bad. But I did very fast arm speeds. This time I might slow it down just a little bit, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Slow it down just a little bit, and we'll see what that does for us. Now the second time, complete compound, you don't want to butter the pad. You've already got a lot of polish already on there. I do basically 3 drops. I don't know if you can see up. There you go. 3 drops. It's definitely getting there. Yeah, come on, focus camera. Hang on, let me turn this off here. What in the world's going on here? Here we go. It's definitely getting better, but it's still not there. But I know when to stop, and I'm going to stop here, and my camera's losing focus again. I know when to stop. I'm going to stop here, like I was saying. Does the complete polish should take care of a lot of what's left over, but it looks a lot better than it did before, but you can definitely still see swirls. Just to give you an idea, this is what the panel looks like. Just follow it. Of course it loses focus again. See, it's a lot better. I don't know what's going on here with the light. I don't know why autofocus is not working very well. We definitely made improvements, that's for sure. Well, we're going to move on and keep on going around the vehicle. Okay, so I called the guy that owns the vehicle. I got done with the top of the fender on the passenger side. I got done with this side of the hood and the front. They gave me a really good idea of what I was looking at as far as paint correction, of how good I'm actually correcting the paint, if that makes sense. I called him and told him I'm getting about 70 to 75% of the swirls out. I wanted to call him because if I got done with the vehicle and he shows up and he's not happy with it, then I'm not going to be happy. So I stopped what I was doing, called him. I said 70 to 75% is what I'm getting out. He said that was fine. He said do the best you can, because I did tell him it's looking better. It's very glossy. I'm getting rid of a lot of the swirl marks, but what I'm noticing, these little tiny hoops, and they're like in lines, and no matter what I do, I cannot get rid of them. So I was looking at it, and what I think it is, looks like a machine sander that when it was painted, they either used a really bad primer, or when they sanded, it dug in. It's actually under the paint. There's nothing I can do about it. I cannot get him out. So I wanted to call him just to make sure that he was okay for me to keep on going. Otherwise, I would have just stopped where I was at, and he could have came, picked it up, and took it somewhere and had it painted. But he said he was fine with what I was telling him. So I'm gonna show you what we've done so far. Hopefully, you see there's still some swirls in it. And it's almost as if they're underneath the clear coat. I've never had this problem before. I've done fiberglass vehicles before, and I'm just having a really hard time with it. I mean, it's better than it was, but as you can see, there's still stuff on there. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys a rundown of what was going on, where I was at. These fenders are looking better. Let's see if I can get real lights on it. I mean, there was tons and tons and tons of swirls. I got rid of, like I said, maybe 70%, but there's still going to be some there. And sometimes that just happens when you're correcting paint. There's just nothing you can do about it unless you want to go and start wet sanding and stuff like that. And he doesn't want to go through all that. So we're just going to keep on trucking, I guess. Well, that's going to do it for part 2. You may have noticed I was starting to get just a little bit frustrated, and maybe you didn't notice it, but I'm the type of person that I go for perfection, I guess is the best word for what I'm trying to say. And I was getting a little bit frustrated because a lot of the defects weren't coming out that I was planning on really getting out. I was excited about doing this video and getting them out. But sometimes that's what happens. And I'm not a business. This is not my full-time job. I'm a mechanic full-time. I just do this as a hobby. I do it on the weekends. I don't have insurance where if I burn through this guy's paint, insurance will pay for him to have a $3,000 or $4,000 paint job. I don't have that, so I can't take the risk. And the car is looking better. I mean, it really is. And if in person, it really is. I hope the camera is really doing it justice. But the car is definitely looking better at this stage of the video. I'm getting rid of a lot of the swirl marks. I'm not getting rid of a lot of the little hoop things that I was talking about. I just can't get rid of those. There's no way I can. But after talking to him, as you saw at the end of the video, I felt a lot better, and I was a little bit more happy with the process, how it was turning out. He wasn't looking for a perfect paint job. He just wanted it to look better. He loves it when it's glossy, and we're definitely doing the glossy part. So stay tuned for part 3. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button while you're down there. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, leave that down in the comments section. If there's some way that you do this type of work that maybe you see that has helped you and maybe something I could try, leave that down in the comments section as well. We'll see you in the next video.